Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today is April 30th, 2020, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each of our listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of our games. If this is your first time tuning in and you would like to hear that message more often from these wonderful individuals, consider going to youtube.com/indooradventures. That's where we upload all of our VODs as a backlog of video. Or if you are more of an audio inclined person, consider going to anywhere audiocasts are made available for free. You can also find us there. If you already support the show with Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all of those good things, consider going to patreon.com/indooradventures, where you can find our after show called Nights in the Courtyard that is currently being made available for free. So if you have any questions for either myself or these wonderful players that you would like answered at the end of tonight's session, consider helping us and supporting us on Patreon. It's a good time. Other than that, if you already support us through all these ways, hey, did you know? We got a merch store. If you go to Indoor Adventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com, you can pick yourself up t-shirts, mugs, posters, tank tops, crop tops, throw pillows, blankets, all sorts of stuff that we have made ready and available for you. So consider going to check that out. But that is enough for my spiel. So hey, Dingo, who are you playing today?
I'm Dingo, she, her, and I am playing Hish Sunguard, the half-orc fighter, and Dad, he, him.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Reeves. I'm pogged out of my mind, and I'm playing Ulman Dark, the short sword, and Ham, his gelatinous companion, and who goes by, or uses they, them.
Hoi! I'm Cyber. I play Albus. He's an aboleth. He, him, for both of us.
What up, geeks and gamers? It's your girl, KyleWithAnN, and tonight I'll be playing Jilfa'en Lyrandar, the half-elf cleric. We both use she, her pronouns.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, our group decided that after infiltrating Mr. Dory's warehouse and talking to him for a brief minute, that you are going to go up to that suspended ship and find out what exactly lies inside of this weirdo's house. Seeing him ascend the stairs, you all decided to follow Mr. Dory into said suspended ship, where there was a fateful encounter that ended up being had. However, rather than being stuck inside of Mr. Dory's warehouse office and Albus getting quite handedly injured in the first round of combat, we saw Albus mind control and persuade effectively some scum. You all ended up beheading Mr. Dory to where, and you also defeated some underwater assassin. You took Mr. Dory's head back to your vessel, the living ship known as Triumph, where you then were able to ascertain the answers to a few more questions that were posed using a Speak with Dead spell. Looking through this black book that Mr. Dory had, you also realized that he had a My First Guide to Worshipping Tharizdun styled book. And as you were all debating as to what to do, Jill ended up hearing the sound of a familiar voice. Her brother Maros, who wanted to be the first to tell Jill about what had happened to Mr. Dory, as he knew that she was very, very intent on securing a job with this local fishing group. However, it was then during this conversation that Maros revealed to Jill that he had been seeing patterns and things. And as we ended last week's session, as Jill and Maros locked eyes, Jill, you saw that there were small spirals that were beginning to twist and turn inside of Maros's pupils. So, that is where we are going to be picking up. So, Jill, you are still, if you would like, You are still in the process of having this conversation with Maros, but you have told him that you would be willing to go to the Frother's Lamp with him tomorrow, if at all possible. And he seemed rather accepting about all of this. So unless there is anything else that you would like to bring up or present, Maros will just, he will make his way off of the vessel and agree to meet you back here tomorrow night.
Yeah, she'll wrap up her conversation with him, and with nice sibling pleasantries and, wave him off.
Okay, sounds good. Meanwhile, the rest of you three were in the kitchen with a severed head as well as a book. So what are the three of you doing?
I thought that Albus threw the head in the bilge, if I remember correctly.
No, I was going to feed it to the boat.
As a treat. Okay.
I was making dinner, I believe.
Okay.
I want the head around. I don't know
It's
what
not gonna
Hish
be
is
around.
doing. I think Hish maybe is just chilling is going to be chilling at the kitchen table.
All right. Sounds good. So, Albus, are you just planning on going towards the front of the ship and just holding out Mr. Dory's head as a snack, or are you going to try and feed it through the bilge?
I was going to go out and bring it to where the boat's mouth would be or was.
Okay.
Just kind of shove it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you do this, there is a rumbling and a groaning sound that comes from the ship itself. Albus, you are submerged at this point. You aren't just on the dock holding out the severed head of a local prominent businessman, I would imagine. And you see the wooden boards on the front prow of Triumph begin to separate and come apart, and as they recede, there is just this dark purple flesh color underneath, and you see skin sort of recede to show an infinite row of teeth underneath that just sort of open up and then extend outward.
I'll mage hand it in there.
And
mage tentacle.
as the mouth closes around it, you see that it sort of moves, and you can hear the sound of teeth just breaking through bone in a very satisfying way. And as Triumph finishes putting this into its maw, the wood then falls back into place to cover where it was on the front, hiding its mouth once again. Triumph is pleased.
And then I will go back.
Okay. Sounds good. And Albus, as you are making your way back up onto the ship, that is when you would pass Maros on his way out. And he just very politely waves towards you and expresses his sorrow towards you. He says that he knows that you and Jill and everyone here was very interested in working with Mr. Dory, but he is no longer around.
That's sudden.
Yes, it would appear as though well, he was missing his head when we found him.
That's awful.
Sorry. If you'll excuse me.
Yes, of course. Have a good evening, Albus. And Maros will just kind of nod towards you and then make his way off of the ship. Ulman, you were in the process of making dinner. Hish, you were helping out as best you could with dinner, I'm assuming. And after everything is said and done, Jill, are you then reconvening back in the kitchen with your friends?
Uh, yeah, she's gonna go into the kitchen
Okay.
and try and look normal.
Ah, Blink Dog! Blink! Thank you! Thank you
What's
for
up,
gifting
Wiki?
4 subs! You are a very kind person. Do we have... Wait.
Bing bong.
Nope, that's a terrible sound. That's just aluminum. I don't have anything nice. I don't have anything. Maybe just a heartfelt thank you. Does that do anything for you? We'll find out later. So, Jill is going back into the kitchen trying to look normal. Make a performance check or a deception check to do your best I am normal looking person.
I forgot to get dice, so I'm gonna roll Ethan's dice. So if this roll's bad, I'm sorry. And also, Ethan, if all your rolls are bad, I'm sorry. I'll get dice later. Okay, so that was a natural 20. Oh, Ethan is gonna be so screwed.
Nothing is wrong, Jill. Everything's fine. At least outwardly, that is what you are able to denote to your friendos.
So, what's for dinner?
Well, I didn't really feel like making anything fancy, so I'm just preparing some beans and rice.
Sounds great. Knowing you, it will be delicious.
Oh, I promise that. You think I'd serve you bad food? It's just simple.
No, that's fair.
I mean, not to make it more complicated, but Ulman, in the book, it says you can refry them after you've already fried them.
Yes, it's basically mashed bean.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That just seems redundant.
It's pretty good.
I guess it's like twice baked potatoes. Those
Yeah,
are good,
sort of like that.
But that is also redundant.
but it's good.
It seems like a lot of foods are improved by cooking them more than once. Strange.
But
Not to derail this scintillating conversation, but if we're not busy tomorrow night, I may have made some plans for us.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure what else we would be doing. Not exactly going to parties or exactly,
what sort of plans?
Well, my brother Moros has offered up an invitation for a Bible study, let's call it.
I'm not interested.
Well, you see, it happens to be at the very same church that we were hoping to get into.
Right, but there was going to be a lot less studying of Bible there.
Yes,
And
and
more possibly killing of the gods there. Well, I guess not gods. Whatever.
right, exactly. What I'm saying is we have an inn that is less, bust down the door.
Conspicuous?
Yes, there we go.
And your brother invited you there.
Yes, my brother invited me there.
Are you worried about him getting hurt?
Thought has never left my mind.
Why would he be inviting you to a Bible study?
Well, that's the thing. He came in and asked me why Mother was so upset. Kept talking about seeing spirals everywhere. Because I forgot to mention I told my mother the truth.
Oh, well, good for you.
Oh.
And she didn't take it well.
No, not at all.
Unsurprisingly.
And well, he came to inquire about why that might be. And so I figured he was owed this same amount of information I gave her. And he took it very well. Much better than I was expecting. Because it seems as though the influence of Tharizdun, whether through Scothgar or not, was already here before our paths ever crossed formally. So my resurrection means that something worked.
So your brother has an in with Scothgar.
I suppose so. I don't know how much he actually knows about anything. Oh, sorry.
And he offered to take you to the place where we believe Scothgar is.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you worried about your brother being hurt? Because if we go with him, things may go very poorly very quickly, especially if Scothgar realizes that you and I are there.
Yes, I am terrified.
It may be better for us to go at a time where he is not there. Otherwise, he may get hurt.
I don't know how to necessarily stop him from going. He was planning on inviting me tonight. How do I, like, oh, hey, maybe don't go to church because we're actually planning on tearing the place up. So stay home, please.
I mean, you don't have to have that conversation with him. Just decline it and then say that, and then we'll just wait until church is over.
Or maybe just ask him a time and place, and we get the place, and we don't go at the time.
Things are a lot more complicated now, as I'm sure you understand.
Oh, of course, we have to kill your brother's god. Or at least his cult leader. And his pet god.
I'm just worried, is all. I already effectively lost my mom. Not keen on losing anyone else. And I'd very much like to prevent that from happening at all possible, but I just don't know the best way to go about that.
If it were me, I would do what Albus said and get the place and wait for a time where he isn't there.
I mean, I know where it is. But I guess we could go when he's supposed to be working, I suppose, but I don't know. That's kind of up in the air since,
It,
given recent events.
Jill,
is your
Do you-
brother going tonight?
He made it sound that way.
You need to stop him. What, Indoor, what information was in the notes that we read? Because
Yes. So
I think what's in Albus's mind is that Mr. Dory threatened to come back with a new lamplight killer,
yes.
and that the lamplight killers were being made in that temple. I think that's the connection that Albus made.
Yes.
But would he make that with the information that he has right now?
I would say with the information that he has now, that seems fairly accurate to what Albus believes versus what is going on in this place.
In so many words, I'm going to relay that concern to Jill that Skothka may get her brother to try and kill us.
I just don't know how to convince him not to go without tipping him off in any way.
is there a problem with tipping him off?
Well, I just don't know how he's going to react. He seems incredibly pleased and thankful that, I'm here and I'm alive, and it's all thanks to the influence of whatever power he believes is at play. And I don't know if he'd believe me. That's all. And I don't. I don't know what to do. I mean, you all present ideas that seem sound in theory, but the thought of executing them is terrifying.
Well, you probably don't want me to do this, but I can. To a lesser extent, control your brother for a time. Let's make him stay home. I could make him think that the temple was already attacked and that worship there would not be an option.
Albus, I don't think that's necessary. Jill, he's your brother. I mean, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine it was kind of a stretch to tell him about Tharizdun in the first place. And he believed you, and he had experience with it. Why not just tell him the rest? It's a leap of faith, but he's your brother.
I don't know. It's complicated, okay? It's not so simple.
I get it. It's not simple, but it doesn't have to be simple. It doesn't have to be simple to talk about it. And if you can't convince him to stay home, then we'll go with him. Because either way, it's not. Either way, we don't know that it's safe. But at least, if he doesn't want to stay home, we'll be there, and we can do something. I know you can talk to him.
Very well, I'll try. Well, at the very least, I suppose we should prepare for that possibility tomorrow. So, be a good idea to get some rest.
At this point, sets out dinner, which is basically the equivalent of a yum bowl, if you've ever had one of those. It's like beans, rice, cheese with like
A special
a little
sauce.
bit of like tomatillo salsa, olives, some lettuce, and special sauce. You know, yum sauce.
To be fair, that is what it's called, and I hate it. Not the taste, just the name.
Yeah. They're tasty. They're filling. But as we're eating, he kind of... I know this is a little off the wall in terms of ideas, but does Gothka know what you look like, Jill?
I'm not certain. I don't know if there's any way for me to really know.
Like, I guess I know he knows that Albus is here. But does he know you are here in any way beyond just being a person?
Mr. Dory knew. I don't know if he was able to get in contact with Skothka during that time, but Skothka did speak to me through Mr. Dory.
It's true. I was just thinking the one thing the three of you have in common is Tharizdun, because Skothka at least thinks he's still following Tharizdun. And, well, I can change what I look like. So there's at least two of us who could go in carefully with your brother. And if things don't go south, we can get out of there, and we know the location, and we can go at some other point. If things do go south, at least there's two of us, and we can try to all get out. Have Albus and Hish waiting nearby in case we need them. But it's possible that he might talk to you if you come as a follower of Tharizdun.
I'm just not sure what all Mr. Dory thought about me. I'm fairly certain I know how he stands or stood on Albus and what he may or may not have relayed to Skothka, but I don't know. I could also be perceived as a threat at this point in time.
Then either way, you're going to get attacked when you go in. Perhaps.
Yeah, I suppose. don't know if there's a clean, easy, sneaky way to do this one.
There isn't.
Well, I suppose I could just look like someone different and go look for worship service.
And go by yourself.
Well, maybe I could join your brother.
I don't know.
Are you saying you would go looking like Jill with her brother?
No, I was thinking some scenario where we create a fictional crew member that I then embody and go with him because I had interests. I was
mean, he's
coming up
seen
with
the
a
whole
complex
crew. It's
cover
not a
story,
big
but I had to go on business somewhere, and I've been gone since we docked. You know?
I mean, it doesn't have to be somebody random. I mean, you could go in looking like Viari.
I forbid it.
God, it's so tempting.
Jill's just gonna snort.
Just waltz in there looking like that dumb wizard. Actually, I don't want to think about them. Never mind. They really bum me out.
I just don't know how safe it would be for for us to split up.
And I don't know how safe it would be for Ulman to turn into Viari because I would punch you.
You could try, but then I guess that means our only option is going in together or not going. Which means that the only real hinge is whether we can get your brother to not go himself or if we have to protect someone. If we have to physically tie him up outside.
We don't have to resort to that. I would definitely suggest that we not go in tonight.
No, of
Oh,
course not.
certainly not. He looks down at like some wounds that are still having trouble closing, and we need to rest.
Yeah, Hish looks like shit. Then why don't we sleep on it? And we'll talk about what to do in the morning.
If he is going there tonight, I am very concerned that that Skarsgård is going to do something and he will try to kill us.
Oh my god. Okay, what time is it right now?
At this point in your day, it would be roughly, I would say, closer to about 8 o'clock. Sun's going down, big guy.
If there was just a way I could send him and Rhiannon out of the city on some sort of job or something.
I could do that.
I could do that. I have the money.
Either one of you could do that?
Oh, yes, if you have the money, then by all means go about that. I was going to coerce him psychically.
He and Rhiannon, well, Maros anyway, did say that there was a way for us to do things independently. That's what he would want. And maybe with enough gold, we could convince him to get out.
What would the job be?
Well,
Jill, you're good at writing job contracts. What would somebody typically do?
if we're putting together a business, Jill, what sort of businessy things can we send him to do? You see, I am just an angel investor looking to put some gold into a little ship fishing startup here in this sleepy town.
Well, my family has always been sailors traditionally. We, shipped goods. They went into fishing whenever other prospects dried up. So anything that relates to navigating a vessel, I think they would be down for, given the coin.
Is there like a source that I can look at that talks about like wages of crews and stuff?
I believe there's actually a thing for it.
Appendix A.
Yes.
Do we
I
still
think-
have a shit ton of alcohol on this boat?
You betcha.
We could perhaps trade off some of our goods as well to increase capital.
Yeah, that reminds me. I'm gonna go get a drink.
Do it while you have the chance.
If I can't sleep,
Uh,
I'm gonna drink.
I think in the cabinet of alcohol, there is one bottle that has been like repeatedly scribbled on that says cooking wine, like Hish, do not drink, not for Hish, not for drinking. Please drink something better.
It's almost gone. And Hish
Yeah.
takes it out of the cabinet.
I'm just like stabs his spoon into his dinner and goes back to eating.
Anybody else? This stuff is great.
No, the amount of salt in there I dehydrate just looking at it.
You
Yeah, and
would
he'll just
probably
pour it in his
need
mug.
at least 10 crew members.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out how much gold I would realistically need to like help start up this business and keep some people paid for a while.
500 gold would do it.
Oh, cool! I
Yeah.
have double that. So
Yeah, like 500 gold is just their base cost, not if they need to not if you need to requisition a ship or anything like that. If you already have a ship, it's obviously going to be
Which they
much
do.
cheaper. It would be the 500, but otherwise you would need to find a place to either let you rent a ship or figure something else out.
but both the brothers own their ships, right?
Those ships were owned by Mr. Dory.
Hmm.
And inherited by the brothers, so it's fine, right?
He
It
had
depends
no
on the laws.
inheritors. So
What
we need to
laws?
figure out what the laws are about inheriting of property.
Do we need to forge some documents?
Oh, you know what? I think that would be very helpful. I think we need to assign the fleet to, his true most trusted employees.
I mean, is that something that we can do in a couple of hours? I mean, it's almost 8 o'clock.
Yep.
I don't know
Preferably.
when your warship happens, but
It wouldn't be done by tonight, no. But the
What
very-
time did he tell you the worship was at, by the way?
I say the time.
It was after sundown.
It's after sundown.
well, the sun is
Yeah.
going down currently.
Yes.
I guess if we need to stop him with an excuse, we need to get moving now if we're going to want to intercept him.
Wow, all my life I've been really good at coming up with excuses, except for right now.
Jill, do you think you would be up to just fill him in on the rest of the story? Tell him you've more to talk about? Just sidestep the evening by forcing him to engage with you?
I can try.
I don't want to force that upon you if it's not something you want to do.
I'll just have to find him. I don't know where he's at the moment.
Well, I can help with that. In the 2 sets of eyes are better than 1.
Oh, yes. All right, let's go handle that.
Start towards the lighthouse. We could try to go in a path that vaguely intercepts with your home.
And maybe by his ship as well.
We should get headed out.
Okay. So the 2 of you are going to head out and look for Maros. Albus and Hish, what are the 2 of you doing while staying here on the ship?
You have any threes?
Go fish.
Hey now.
Then
All right. So idle card games between the 2 of you. Sounds good. So out on the mean streets of Murann, it is getting dark out. Make a survival check.
13?
Okay. Muted. I don't know what you rolled.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So with a 13 and a dirty 20, the 2 of you are able to... you're at least able to plot a relative course where you might intercept Maros. From what you're able to gather, the ship where he works off of is like not across the street, but across the city from where your house is, Jill. So there's no path that's going to put you in between the 2. But thankfully, as you are maneuvering and managing yourself, you actually can see him nearing the Frother's Lamp, nearing this kind of partially broken down looking lighthouse. And there's like a small cluster of people that are all here. It's not just Maros by himself. It looks like he's like you've seen individuals that he is with on his ship before. It just looks currently like he is but a humble sea captain who is taking some of his favored crew out on the town for the evening. And they all begin heading away from the lamp. And as they do, make a perception check.
19.
Okay. So with a 19, as they all begin making their way away from the lamp, you can see that they aren't going on a populated road, but the alleyway that they're going down does look well traveled. And as you're looking at it, you realize that the path that they walk is almost entirely in the shade. It seems like the Frother's Lamp as a whole, the long shadow that it's casting, your brother is following along this shadow to the best of his ability, walking through the streets with members of his crew. And as you continue to kind of trail behind him, make a stealth check.
Are we wanting to follow him, or do we want to intercept him now? Do we just want to call out?
roll a 23.
Rolled a 20.
Okay.
Dirty.
So you guys don't have to be seen by Maros and his crew if you don't want to be.
Jill's just gonna be like, I don't know. I'm not good at this. Maros, Maros. She'll call out to him.
Okay. And as Maros and his crew are continuing to walk, he is going to make a perception check to see if he hears you. And he sort of stops, and then you see that his ears perk up a little bit, and he starts looking behind his shoulder, checking to see where the figure calling his name is coming from. And when he spots you and Ulman, you see his brow shifts from surprise to curiosity, and then he ends up it looks like he just sort of like waves the rest of his crew off, and he will break from them and actually then approach you two. Jill, it's nice to see you again. Ulman, as always, it's absolute pleasure. I thought, what are you doing here?
Sorry, well, during dinner, we just got to talking, and, well, what were we gonna do now that, well, our plans have dried up, and, we got to thinking about how you were talking about how nice it would be to go out on our own and have our own business.
It would be very nice.
Maros, it's possible.
Well, I don't exactly have the money now.
Well, you have me. You see, I don't really have the skills to run a fishing business, but I do have a lot of money, and I would like to invest in making this town a better place. And, you know, I heard your talks of wanting to start up a business, and I thought, what better way to start?
Oh, well, thank you. I honestly don't know what to say.
And we actually have things on our ship that we could start selling, like, right away. We have a shit ton of alcohol. Everyone loves booze.
That is a well-known fact.
And I know I said you're busy, but I wanted to come find you tonight, so maybe we could talk things out and maybe draft something up. I want this to work really badly.
I do as well. Starting a business is going to take several days, though. It's not going to be something that we can just sit in a cafe and draft over immediately. We need to talk about the ship. I don't know what's going to be happening with mine. I'm going to be quite sincere about that. I'm fairly certain I could get, and he looks over his shoulder, at least some of my crew on board with sailing under your company name. Do you have a ship for us to use or anything like that?
We're working on the details.
All right.
There's a lot to be planned, you know. Do you know anyone who is familiar with the trade routes, incoming and outgoing?
Trade routes, that would have been Mr. Dory. The perfumer over at the Alchemists Guild. I've heard he sends out packages quite frequently from here all the way up the Sword Coast. He probably has a good idea of trade routes. I know that was something that Rynan was looking into.
Yes,
Wonder
we
if he
could get
knows.
Rynan on board as well. Have you seen Rynan? Where is Rynan?
Last I saw of Rynan, he was heading to the warehouse to collect his pay. And then he found out about what happened to Mr. Dory, and he said he needed some time to think.
I just think that, well, I know you said that it takes some time, but maybe we could take some time tonight and maybe talk about some things and figure some things out. I just think it would be a really good idea if we, started working on this.
All right.
We've just got that, when you think of a new project and you've just got a lot of energy and you're excited to just put some time into it. We're just feeling that. We're excited. I baked excitedly. I made some darn good cookies.
And
I'm excited to munch on those and think about contracts.
Maris nods. Make a persuasion check.
I don't know which one of us is rolling, but
Jill, make a persuasion check.
do you want to assist me?
Yeah, can I assist?
I'll say that you have help.
Okay, that's not terrible. That's a 16.
Okay. And Maros he'll nod and say, well, I'll have to tell my crew where I'm going. Are we just going to be going back to your ship to work on this?
Yeah, sure, certainly. That
All right. Do you mind if I tell my crew where I'm going to be?
Yep.
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, thank you. Would you like to come in for a bit?
No, it'll be fine. We
Alright.
can just wait.
Suit yourself. And Maros begins trotting off to... You see him head towards what looks like an old ship that is currently in a almost dried up looking canal, and the ship is kind of sticking out at a rather brusque angle. And you see that there is a opening that has been made on the hull of this ship, and that's where people are actually walking into. And Maros makes his way into that hole as well, chasing after his crew.
I think we nailed it.
Okay, I think maybe once we get him back on the ship, maybe then I can talk to him about things. I just don't feel
Yeah, no. I think
safe.
that was a good diversion. I was a bit confused for a moment, but then I realized where we were going, and I think it's much safer to be in our own zone. You're right.
Okay. We'll just wait, I guess.
We cross our fingers that the couple minutes he spends in there don't do anything bad.
Okay.
He knocks on a nearby tree.
The tree immediately, it's almost like it disintegrates when you knock on it. The state of the ecology in Murann is not super great. And Maros is gone. Maros is gone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And the time just seems to creep on and on until he's almost been gone for roughly a half hour.
This is bad.
Stop yelling at me! I don't like it!
I'm just talking out loud.
And then you see a lone figure making their way out of this key-hauled ship. And it's Maros. And they have an incredibly bewildered look on their face. But like you see like a slight smile as well as they come out.
Oh, man.
Insight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make that insight check.
Sir, I rolled a 20 for 25. What are that man's vibes?
I also got a 25.
Oh, damn. All right. He just received incredible news, and he doesn't know how to handle it. It's like when you see somebody get accepted into a university that's incredibly prestigious. Like Maros just has like this perplexed, bewildered, but happy.
That was more than just a goodbye. Looks like you got married.
In not so many words, no. I went in to let my crew know that I was going to be out this evening, and when I went to tell them, some of the other brothers told me that the head of our order wanted to speak to me. And I couldn't turn him down. Apparently, Mr. Dory left everything to me.
That's great news.
So, as much as I would love to find out more about your business operation, I guess I have a business. I have my own business.
Well, then we'll go back to a celebration party.
Of course. And his bewilderment breaks a little bit, and he says, "And if you're still looking for a job, I guess I would be the one hiring you."
Who's the leader of your order?
I always just knew them as John. Is it? Really? He's been here for a while. Seems very devout.
Just curious. I didn't realize there'd be a church out here, I guess.
It's
I'm not a particularly religious man myself.
Religion isn't exactly something that is taken lightly here in Murann. And so we have to be a little bit more discreet about the places that we worship. But that's besides the point. A celebration, right?
Of course.
Yeah, right. Sounds great.
All right. Lead the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to the ship.
Turn around. I think if you catch Ulman's eye, he has spiral eyes, but not like anyone else's. More like he's extremely bewildered. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah. She'll lead him back to the ship
Okay.
and be like, friends, wow, huh, great news. Turns out Mr. Dory left everything to Maros. Isn't that fantastic news? Friends?
It's great, great news. Which is why I'm making a better dessert than the inspiration cookies that I made, because this is more deserving of
Jill,
something better.
you and I have a psychic connection for 3 hours.
Okay.
What does this mean? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I tried to convince him to come back. I didn't want to, just spill my guts right in front of the fucking church. And, well, he went inside to tell his crew he was coming back, and then this happened. I still want to tell him the truth, but I don't know. It's going to be much harder to explain that now.
Do you want me to get him out of the city?
Yes, I want him gone. I want him safe.
Shit, I can't. I don't have 8 hours. I have a suggestion. Okay. I will need some time, but I can. Like I said, I can control him to lead him out of the city. And he will.
If you think it's best, because I don't know. I thought I could do things in a way that was more covert, and apparently I fucked up. So I don't know anymore.
And Jill, as you think that towards Albus, the back of your hand begins to warm.
Why is it getting all roasty toasty?
You two have been staring at each other for a while. Do you want to share with the class?
Can you stand there in front of him?
Is Maros here?
Oh yeah, he's totally here.
Oh yeah, I think Hish says that out loud. He doesn't read the room.
And Maris just sort of like looks over to the two of you.
Jill will just blush and be like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was." Oops. She's gonna play it off like she has a schoolgirl crush on Albus.
Sorry, it was something about your eyes. I would. So I'm gonna excuse myself, and I'm gonna try this new feature. It's called Psionic Discovery or Psychic Discovery. No, Psionic Discovery. I can meditate for 10 minutes and then roll a die and choose a sorcerer spell. I'll know a sorcerer spell for a number of hours. I'm trying to get suggestion.
Okay.
So I'm going to take 10 minutes, and for 2 hours, I will know suggestion.
Okay.
So 10 minutes. Go.
All right, sounds good. So during that 10 minutes, I would say that Maros ends up like giving Jill some shit over her having like perceivedly performing this schoolgirl crush towards Albus. And starts doing things like, "Oh, so come on, where did you two meet?"
In Saltmarsh? Why is this relevant?
How long has this been going on? I haven't seen you in quite a while.
No, it's not. It's not what it looks like.
I mean, I'm glad we're finally talking about it because she's been like this
The
for.
tension has been palpable.
Guys!
He looks back towards Jill.
I'm sorry. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Right. Listen, this is about Meros. Congratulations on your inheritance.
Yes, well, thank you. It was certainly unexpected. Today has been a day.
Sure
Well,
has.
What do you plan to do with your new fleet?
Surely you must have some big dreams.
Is Albus like stepping back into the room at this? Like, did you take?
No.
Okay.
No. He'll stay out of this.
Okay. Mara says, "Well, I've always kind of wanted to own my own business and get things off the ground running. I didn't expect to become one of the prominent business owners in Murann, especially when I went to sleep last night and then I woke up today, and that's just how it is. I went to my shift as normal and came back, and well, what happened with Mr. Dory happened, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel. It's a lot.
It is.
I want to do what I can to help the city of Murann. I think that will be my... Oh, God. Ryan's going to kill me.
Oh, I mean, I didn't want to mention that, but
Not.
listen, don't.
I was thinking Ryan might be appeased if you give him a better position.
You
You know.
realize that's just going to look like pity, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just was thinking if he was studying trade routes and you put him in charge of managing your trade routes.
No
He's-
matter what he does, it's gonna seem like he's pitying him. Or...
He has assumed that everything that I've done is just strokes of dumb luck. And while arguably today was, if I do anything for Ryan, he's going to be upset. The fact that I'm doing this position will probably make him upset, and I would not be surprised if he ends up quitting.
A bit of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Very much so. But I'll try not to worry about it. That is a problem for tomorrow's Meros.
Don't let it take the wind out of your sails.
And I think today's Meros deserves a good glass of whiskey. If that's what you take. Or we have an extensive cabinet, as we mentioned.
Dealer's choice. My book almost fell. It made me very startled.
I guess well, I guess we could go get the cask of brandy. Jill, do you want to help me with that?
Sure.
Great. And Hish will stand up and lead you out of the room.
Okay. So Jill and Hish are exiting the room to get the cask. Ulman, are you just entertaining Meros in the meantime?
Yeah.
Okay. And Albus, you are in the process of meditating. So as we get, as your group is deciding what to do about Meros this eve, that is where we are going to go into our break for tonight's session. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. Thank you, Blink Dog, for gifting all of those subs. That was really cool. Reeves, thank you for subscribing. That was really kind of you as well. And we are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice. And we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. And we're back. Hello, everybody. We have returned. So, Jill and Hish are currently going to get a cask of booze. Ulman, you are entertaining Meros. And Albus, you are just finishing up having done some mental preparation for a suggestion spell. So, Albus, you will be getting done with your meditation before Jill and Hish return. And when you return to the kitchen, it is just Ulman and Meros just talking about beans, as it would seem. Meros is very curious about this whole process of refrying a bean. He doesn't know how you would even do that.
Yeah, I think Ulman, because he's already been working on the book, he has most of the stuff out on the table. So I think he's just talking to Meros about the like page he's working on, and it led to refried beans.
All right, sounds good. So Albus, what would you like to do?
First off, I would like to telepathically to Jill say, I'm about to talk to your brother. And try to with that, I would like to try to, what is this feature called? Psychic sorcery, cast an extended suggestion spell. That is higher than a 2, so it does not require somatic or material components. And my suggestion to Meros is to head toward, and I'll say the road that Hish's ex-wife is going down. I want you to find her and tell her that you just inherited a shipping company and would like to hire Hish.
Okay.
So for as long as I concentrate on this, which extended could be up to 16 hours, he will need to try and follow through on that suggestion if he fails a wisdom save.
Okay. And what's the number that he's looking for?
17.
Well,
Please be a himbo.
that's a 2 on the dice.
Oh my god! Yes, himbo brother.
So he is in the process of speaking with you, Ulman, and then when Albus comes in, he turns to look towards Albus, and then Albus, as you finish saying this, Meros stops, kind of puts his hands to his sides. I think Hish would make a really good sailor on my ship. You're right. That's kind of weird that I have to talk to his ex-wife about it, but you know, who really wears the pants? And Meros will just sort of stand and then begins to make an exit.
Ulman just slowly rotates his head over towards Albus.
I mean, he'll be leaving the city.
That I will. I will be going on a far road, Meros says very faintly as he begins walking off.
Well, it's a solution.
Right, it is.
I feel like there's an hour and a half that we could have come up with a better solution.
I didn't know you were gonna do that right now, but okay.
And
Dora,
Hish
I have a very important question to ask you.
Yes.
Whenever so I have to concentrate on this. for the spell's duration. That means I have to stay awake for it.
Yes,
for
you
it.
do.
Fuck.
You most certainly do have to stay awake.
That's fine.
Okay, so Jill, you receive this note, this mental note from Albus while you and Hish are in the process of acquiring said booze.
Alright, your brother's leaving now.
Jill will mentally and out loud just exhale the biggest sigh. Okay, he's gone. He's going.
He's what?
I imagine Hish has like the cask, like hug holding.
Mm-hmm.
Albus kindly suggested that he do something. He didn't really specify.
Kindly suggested. In that very special way that Albus does.
Yes.
Oh, I should clarify. Now he's going along the far road to try and find Hish. What's your ex-wife's name?
Talia.
Oh yeah.
to find Talia and talk to her about possibly hiring Hish.
Okay, Hish, so you're not gonna believe what Albus told.
I already don't believe this is happening, so hit me.
Kimmy plays VG, thank you for the raid.
Great! Yeah, and she'll just be like, apparently he's gonna go find Talia and on the far road and be like, oh, I want to hire Hish for my company.
I mean, that's going to be very confusing for Talia at the very least, and she's going to think that I sent...
Look, if we take care of things, it's not going to matter.
Regardless, I don't understand why you didn't just talk to your brother, why you had Albus... I don't even know the proper word for it. Just coerce? Magically coerce your brother? It's basically mind control, Jill.
If things go over well, then it's not going to matter. I'll apologize later. I just wanted to get him out, and I didn't know if the truth would do it.
As someone who's been possessed, if one of you had done that to me on purpose, I don't know that. Sorry, my fish friend crawled into your brain and told you to leave the city. I thought it was best for you would really go over well.
I'm sorry. Is the scale of things that we're operating at just mere trifles, or were we not just discussing how if we were to go into this church where my brother may or may not be, he may or may not die?
You didn't even try.
I was, I thought maybe I could get him out with like some sort of excuse first, and then I didn't know that they were going to voice this upon him the moment he stepped foot inside. There's too many variables. Maybe I fucked up, but it's done.
All right, it's done. And he's safe. So.
If he's angry at me when we meet again, then, well, it's something I have to accept. Regardless if I tell the truth, if I tell lies, everything that has happened to me and everything that I am involved in, it's going to make the people I care about hate me, so no point in doing the right thing, the best thing. I'm sorry, you don't deserve me yelling at you. The things you said were very much... You're right. Just scared.
I get it. And don't worry about yelling at me. I'm a big man, I can take it.
Insight check. Can he take it? Is he holding back tears?
Is his lip quivering?
What does 24 get me? Are you crying, big man?
Big man.
Big man. Big man's cool.
I have lost control of this game.
But yeah, Hish is fine. I think he if you're really insight checking him, he's just, I mean, he's upset. He's very much against what you've done and what you have and Albus have done to your brother. But at the same time, you get the sense that he's relieved and happy that you are just actually talking about your feelings, and even if you are yelling, like, it doesn't bother him. Just knowing what's on your mind and what you're going through, I think is
Wow, growth. Growth on Jill's part, let me say.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pride there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks at you and he says, "You're right, there's no right thing to do, and if you're doing what you think is right, especially for your family and your brother, is none of my business. And just oddly enough, I know what it's like to be in both of your positions, wanting to do the right thing to keep people you love safe. And sir, can you please stop messing with that? Ches, can you chill out? Excuse yourself."
Ches.
Thank you. Wanting to do the right thing for your loved ones and keep them safe, and not having any really good way of doing that. And also having someone mess with your brain and control your thoughts and your decisions, and Jesus Christ.
There is a rat causing havoc in our stores.
I feel for the both of you, and it just doesn't, none of it sits right with me. I just wish, I know you're not in an easy position, Jill. I just wish you would have tried to talk to him, and not in a, I think if he knew what was going on, he would have wished that you had tried to talk to him.
Well,
And there's nothing you can do about it now, but
I'd rather him be alive than me be in his good graces at this point. So, I'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. If I'm, well, I don't want to dwell on the possibility of not coming out of this on the up. So, let's just, I don't know.
push forward. That's what we focus on now. Pushing forward. And getting whatever the hell Ches has out of his mouth, excuse me.
I think she's just going to go back upstairs and go to Albus and be like, how long does this last? How long do we have?
If I stay awake for it, 16 hours.
Okay, I'm going to go to sleep. I'll see you in the morning. If you're feeling incredibly exhausted, come see me. I think I'll be able to take care of you, so you're not dead on your feet. Albus. Thank you.
Of course, Joe.
And I think she's just gonna go off to her room.
Okay. Ulman, is there anything that you wanted to do this evening?
He pens a couple of pages diligently, but calls it an evening.
Okay. Hish, is there anything that you would like to do for the remainder of the evening?
I think Hish is just going to remain relatively relatively tucked away in his office. I don't think he comes out.
Okay. Sounds good. And Albus, you are just going to be doing your heckin' best to stay up for the next 16 hours.
Yep.
Okay. Make a concentration check.
So 10.
Or concentration save, sorry.
So 10.
Okay.
I rolled a 12.
Okay.
I'm not taking any damage.
This
So
is
10?
to stay awake. As you've had quite a busy day today. So a lot of this is just coming down to not being too exhausted. You feel yourself beginning to almost nod off at points, but then you remember the severity of the situation that you're in. And thankfully you are able to stay up throughout the evening. It's going to be a long one. But thankfully, you know where the coffee is kept. You know how to do these things. And Jill, you were going to be going to sleep, or did you have anything else that you wanted to do before rest?
I think she's just gonna get in bed and try and sleep.
Okay. Sounds good. So I would say it's after you go to sleep, Jill. You're feeling your body come to rest. And you're hearing the crash and breaking of the waves off in the distance in this otherwise sleepy harbor. And you hear a instrument. And it is a gentle strumming. And you hear a voice actually come through along with this instrument. And it says, "We were playing in the sand." And you see a spotlight actually appears from the top down onto what looks like a small stage. And you see, in board game terms, they would refer to them as a meeple. It is a tiny little caricature of what looks like you actually pop up from the sand. And then the voice continues. "Then you found a little band." And you see your friends from Saltmarsh also pop up. You see Hish, Ulman, Albus. And the voice says, "You told me you'd fell in love with it, hadn't gone as I'd planned." And you see little Jill walk over to the group, and they're all sort of just like moving around intermittently. And then before the voice is able to continue its song, you hear a twanging sound, like a chord breaking, and the lights sort of lift up, and the meeples and sand all seem to drift away. And you see a long, dark-haired figure wearing nice but loose-fitting clothes without any shoes, in your room, sitting on your chair, tuning what looks to be a ukulele that has had a string break. And they look back up towards you, and you recognize the face as Tharizdun's. It's been a while. Just wanted to check in, make sure everything's going okay. Thought I would surprise you with this song, but And he just like makes motions down towards ukulele.
She'll just kind of use a finger to like beckon it over and like hold out her hand for the ukulele.
I'll hand it to her.
She'll cast mending on it and be like, well, here.
Oh. Why, thank you. It's awful kind. I'm going to be honest, Jill. I've been worried about you.
About me?
Yes, about you.
Why would that ever be the case?
Well, as a cleric, your abilities are tied to the faith that you put into me. But lately, I have been feeling that faith falter a little bit. I've been curious as to why.
Oh, well, things are just stressful right now, I suppose.
Tharizdun will nod. It's understandable. This town, this place has a lot of backing for you.
Just ready to be done with things. Here, want to take care of the problem, keep my family safe, and well, it's a little difficult at the moment.
Well, your brothers are safe. Your father and mother, they're both safe. I've kept my word.
You have.
I am curious. Why did you stop reading?
Things have gotten busy. I haven't really had the time for sitting down with a good book. I'm sure you've noticed, you see everything I do.
Yes. Yes.
Why, have you been writing me notes?
No.
I suppose I didn't miss much now, did I?
I suppose it's easier to just come out and say it at this point. You want me not to talk to your friends because I can be a little abrasive and forward at times. I also know that they aren't exactly thrilled with aspects of our relationship. But I've come to an understanding. Something that would be mutually beneficial for both parties. I ask if you've been reading because one of the chains, and I know I sound pushy. I've been thinking about this a long time and I've been excited about it. It's very hard for me not to seem pushy when I've had a taste and I really enjoy it. Your friend, Ulman, is stuck in his form as this weapon, correct?
Yes.
What if I were to tell you that that weapon is one of my chains?
Insight check.
Make an insight check.
Big old insight check. Man. That's no good. That is that's a 13.
It sounds believable. A little left field, but believable.
You mean some hag's curse is one of your chains? That's okay.
I know. It's a little out there. I understand. But it's true. Everything that you've read in the books, everything that I've told you is... I've not yet lied to you, Jill, and I don't plan on lying.
I suppose not, but why would you wait until now to tell me this information?
The reason I would wait until now, you have the option. There are a group of people within this city who are waiting for a miracle, are waiting for a show of divine power. Once Skothga is removed, they will be left without a leader. If you were to free your friend from his prison and simultaneously break one of my chains in front of, well, in front of a eager congregation,
I'm that's well, okay. I mean, does Ulman know?
no. I don't. Like you've said, I'm not to talk to your other friends. I was simply following your wishes.
I mean, I guess I would have to talk to Ulman about it and make sure this is something he'd want. I mean, he needs to know, right? This concerns him.
It does. And it is very concerning. Tharizdun will nod. I want to make sure that you are provided for. So these are the things that I am willing to do. But I can only do them if you let me. If you are strong of faith.
I'll I will take care of Skothka, of the false prophet that thinks he's doing your work. That much I can do, but I'm not a leader. That's not who I am. I want to help Ulman, yes, but I...
Then what are you, Jill? If you aren't a leader, what are you?
I don't know. I don't know.
And Tharizdun will sit on the end of your bed, and he will put a hand on your knee. You're powerful. You don't need to be a leader to be strong. You have changed reality to your will, and not in the same kind of paltry trick that wizards do. You have changed perception. This is something only you can do. Leadership is not something that you aspire to. Look at your friend Hish. Hish is a leader because they don't wish to lead. They want everyone to do what they can. They want everyone to do what they can for the best. And then look at Albus. Back in Lethlung, you saw what kind of leader he is. He is the kind that wishes to lead, wants to be in charge. It's all right if you don't. If your heart is strong, there will be those who follow regardless. So do you have a strong heart, Jill?
You probably know the contents of my heart better than I. You tell me.
And Tharizdun smirks. Your heart is ironclad. You have a resolve unlike any else I've seen. You have a drive for freedom. A freedom known only by the open sea. A freedom I hope to one day achieve.
I can only do what I can do. Given our foe, I don't even know if I'll make it out of this alive.
And Tharizdun smirks and looks back towards you. And as he begins to strum on the ukulele, he says, I told you I'd keep you safe, didn't I? And as he says that, he begins to strum again, and the lights begin to dim once more. And you see the sandy bar, the four little meeples standing next to each other. And you hear the song begin again. This time the words saying, "You told me you'd fell in love with it, hadn't gone as I'd planned." And as the lights begin to close out, you see one small meeple outside of the light with long, dark hair and what looks like a nicely tailored suit, just watching the four of you as the lights dim out.
Oh shit, that's good.
And when you awaken, your journal is sitting on your desk. The pen is next to it. It is closed. And
Should take a peek?
Yeah.
Just a little peek, just a little sneak peek.
And when you open it up for the sneak peek, you see that all of the conversations that you have had with Tharizdun up until this point have filled the journal. But where previously there were spots where you had crossed out words or taken pauses or there was too much ink on the page, it looks like these have all been cleaned up. That they've been made into cohesive thoughts and structures here within this tome. And on the last page that you open up to, you see a very loving sketch of a small figurine of Jill and then the small meeple of Tharizdun next to each other.
She'll close the journal and throw the journal and the pen in her bag.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm gonna go find Albus.
Albus has been awake all night long. So Albus, yeah, by the time Jill is making your way to you, you are having like the utmost difficulty staying awake.
How are you feeling this morning?
All right. The connection still isn't broken, so your brother should be safe.
Thank you. And I think she'll like place a hand gently on your shoulder and cast Greater Restoration because that can reduce your exhaustion level by 1. So maybe you feel a little bit better.
He do. To some extent. Spell slots not regained.
Spell slots are a problem.
Yeah.
Do you have any failed or successful death saves?
Not since Jill restored me.
All right. Gotcha.
Oh, does the Greater Restoration take care of that too? Oh, no. Okay, no.
No, just healing
Okay.
resets your death saves.
Oh, perfect. Is there anything else I can do for you? How are you feeling otherwise?
I mean, drained. There's something on your mind.
You've done a lot for me. I just want to make sure you're taken care of is all. We don't know what we're going into today.
Yeah. I'll be honest, drained as I am definitely not ready to face him. Or his pet.
I think Ulman tops off your coffee. How long can you concentrate on that spell?
16 hours.
All right.
Unless he
Well,
gets there first.
if we give it another 4 or so, he's still
12 hours away.
12 hours away. You could get some rest and then we could go.
Woman's right. If we need to rest, and if
I'm prepared to hold on to this for as long as I need to. But I will need to rest before we head out.
whatever you need, Albus.
He'll just take a long sip of his coffee.
Okay. And Hish, you had receded into the captain's quarters last night. Didn't make much of a ruckus at that point. What are you doing in the morning?
I don't think he comes out like he usually does. I think he stays. I think he stays in his room. And that's about it. Although I do have a question.
Yes.
How many more days was I expecting? How many more days was I expecting before Talia and Ollie were gonna arrive in Murann?
I believe you were expecting at least another 10, 15 days. They were still a ways out. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I think Hish very briefly communicates that when he comes out for coffee, but then he goes right back into his room.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Hish is making very little conversation. Lets you all know when Talia and Ollie are roughly going to be heading your way. Albus, you are going to be taking a pretty good heckin' nap in the middle of the day, or are you going to be waiting another 4 hours and then doing it?
I'm prepared to hold out for the entire 16 hours.
Okay, so what is Ulman and Jill? What are your takes on that? How long would you like for Albus to maintain this?
I think that's fine.
Uh,
Well, except that
It's
Well,
gonna
I guess
be
we'd
after
all
sundown whenever he
again,
gets back up.
basically. Yeah, I guess.
whatever you believe is best, whatever you need to do to prepare, I'm fine with.
Okay. So going the whole 16?
Yep.
Okay. So is there anything that Jill and Ulman would like to do during the early day / midday?
Yeah, I think after finishing up dishes, Ulman will go knock on the captain's door.
You don't hear a response.
Captain?
It takes him a minute, but yeah, he says, "Come in."
I do so.
Yeah, I think you see him. He's sitting. I think previously he had like a desk, but I like to think that he had it sort of morph into like a big round table. That he had Triumph do for him, but I think he's sitting at that table, with kind of papers scattered around him. I think he has a blank journal open, and he looks at you.
You didn't make your usual appearance at the table this morning, so I thought I'd come check on you. Is everything all right?
I'm fine. Just resting up sort of throughout my back. Cutting that guy's head off, so.
All right.
Figured I'd just lay low while Albus is doing his thing.
I have some papers I'm working on myself. Do you mind if I do that in silence at this nice large table?
I would love that. And he sort of gestures for you to sit down.
Yeah, I don't think Ulman pushes for anything. He'll just work silently.
Yeah, I don't think Hish offers anything either and just sits there with you in silence and is sort of writing.
Sounds good. With that, Albus, you end up reaching the end of the full 16 hours of this suggestion spell, having maintained concentration on it. So you know that you are able to now take an extended rest. Maros is probably not going to be too particularly happy knowing what he now knows and that you enchanted him a little bit to get him out of town. But, do what you can.
If Jill's around, he'll let her know the connection's broken, and then he'll go lie face down, either in the bilge or wherever.
Yeah, the bilge is a good place. It's a little warmer now than it was previously, but that's probably due to the nature of your ship.
Nah, he's out.
Yep, he is conked. So, Jill, Ulman, and Hish, the three of you know that you have at least 8 hours or so until Albus is awake and ready to actually confront whatever it is that lies within that keyhauled ship past the frother's lamp.
I don't know if there's anything the two of you wanted to do, but I think Hish, after some time in silence with Ulman, I think he's gonna push himself up from the chair at the table and say, you know, I sort of miss having Indoor, what was that shop called in Saltmarsh? With Captain Zendros.
Oh, yeah. It's the Faithful Quartermaster.
The Faithful Quartermaster. Okay. Yeah, I think he looks at you, Ulman, and he says, I don't know that they would exactly have a faithful quartermaster here, but I've been thinking maybe it's time to see if I could get something a little better than what I have. And he sort of taps his hilt. If that's even doable, I don't know. It might be Zendros is the only person who can possibly find anything better, but
Only we could get back to that city of doors. Sure, we could find something there.
that's true.
But
I do kind of miss that little cabin.
that was a cute cabin. And, well, her capabilities of finding items were uncanny, honestly. It's a shame we're so far away. But I wouldn't be against taking another scour around town. See if we can't find something approximate.
At the very least, stretch our legs. Should we see if Jill wants to go?
Why not?
Yeah, and he'll come knock on Jill's door. We're going shopping, bitch. Get in.
What could you possibly be shopping for at this time?
Something a little better. And I think he hits his hilt again. I don't know if I can, but I figure worth a shot, especially if we're going to be well, I guess just nervous about what we're up against.
I personally don't think I can acquire anything else at this time. But if you would like the company, I can come with you, or I can stay and make sure Albus has someone to watch him while he's sleeping. Not like, but like.
Well, I wasn't thinking of it in a weird way until you sort of made it weird there for a second.
Well, no, I just didn't want it to come across wrong. That's, that was all for my brother, right? Like, that's not.
I'm gonna jump over this and just say that, I would love to have your company, but if you think you should watch over Albus.
Just in case. I don't know. I think you and Ulman should be fine.
Oh yeah, we'll be fine. He sort of, I think he looks like he's going to clap you on the shoulder and then thinks better of it and then thinks better of that. And so he's sort of stuck for a minute. And then he just goes, okay, we'll be back in a little bit.
Very well. I'll be here.
Yeah. I think Hish is going to go try to find something cool that he can wield.
Okay. Make an investigation check with advantage if Ulman is helping.
Of course.
Hang on a second. I had to put all my dice in my cargo pocket because...
Oh shit, you have cargo pockets?
I do. I have a little cargo pocket on the
Maybe just
pants.
stunt on us.
Wow. Oh my god, I gotta change.
Like a utility belt in your pants.
Y'all are lucky I'm not wearing jorts. That's all I'm saying.
I'm streets behind.
I truly would be streets ahead.
Damn,
of you.
Dingo said I'm gonna cosplay Hish.
16 plus, what is my investigation? 0, so just 16.
Okay, so a 16. When you start talking about like a magical item shop, there's a lot of people that just don't really seem particularly interested. It would almost appear as if the like entrance fee. Oh, Kimmy plays VG. Thank you for the follow. Hey, guess what? You're number 500. Bwomp, 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 bwomp. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That's a small threshold that we've just managed to clear, which means hey, in less than a week I'll be posting stuff about a giveaway cuz we hit a mile marker and I think that's really neato. But with the 16, there aren't any magic item shops in Murann proper, but you do hear of one.
Not even if I ask the perfumer.
The perfumer regrets to inform you that there's no magic shop. He wishes that there was a magic shop in town, so that way he could more easily direct you. But it seems like the only one that he knows of is about 3 miles out of town. It seems like they couldn't get the proper zoning to actually put their magic shop inside of Murann. But they have set themselves off quite a ways away. And the name recommendation that you are given is things that make you say wow.
That's really like a beach town shop name.
Hish, I'm beyond excited. I feel like we're about to stumble across just a real high point in our last week.
Like, this is gonna be the best thing that we've seen in months. Like, we have to get a t-shirt, Ulman.
We have to. Oh, I'm so excited. You want to run? I kind of want to run.
Yeah, I could go for a jog. Let's go. Let's
Run.
do
Don't
All right.
walk to things that make you say wow.
it. Yeah, we're going on a run to things that make you say wow.
Okay. So, as you are running off in the direction of things that make you say wow, like the perfumer Loquid ended up telling you, it is just a small red tent that is underneath an ancient-looking oak tree along the centralized path. And when you get close to it, you can see, and it takes you roughly about an hour to actually make your way here. Less than if you guys are running. It would probably take you closer to about 30 minutes tops, like 30, 35 if you were running. And when you arrive, you see this very simple looking tent that exists in maybe a 5-foot square. And you see that it has this very ornate looking red fabric along the side. There's gold fringes along all of the edges to this tent. And there are a set of letters that actually float above the doorway. And it says things that make you say, and then you see in light up letters similar to neon, W-O-W, wow, wow, wow. And then it starts W-O-W, wow, wow, wow. And when you pull aside the front of this tent, looking in, you see that there is a set of stairs that seem to just lead down into the earth.
Oh my god.
I've never felt such anticipation. This is like going to the ghost house, except there wasn't a ghost. There's gonna be... I'm ready to say wow.
If I don't say wow, I want my money back.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And descending down these stairs, it eventually opens up into a long chamber that is about 40 feet from the base of the stairs to the back. And every wall just has these very nice curtains that seem to hang down, and it is of this same deep and beautiful red with gold filigree. You see that on the right and left-hand side, there are what look to be suits of armor holding powerful blades, tip side pointed down, that are just steady. And towards the back of this well-lit area, you can see what looks like a desk that stands about waist high. And there is a large green bullfrog that is sitting on the actual desk, or on the shelf itself. And as the two of you come in, it looks over at you, just...
Oh god.
I cast Speak with Animals. What's he saying?
What's it saying? Hello and welcome to things that make you say wow. Ring the bell if you are ready to be amazed.
I look, is there a bell?
There is a bell on the desk. And that ding echoes out, and it seems to echo far deeper and longer than it should. And as you sit there and you see this frog Just kind of like shake its head a little bit. And you see it reaches behind one of its legs and it pulls out a small cigarette and it begins smoking, and you see it like inflates its little throat sac and then just
Wow.
And
well, I'm already done.
this frog just like looks at you, and that is when the two of you hear, it sounds like a rattling in like a metal container, like if you dropped shoes down an elevator shaft where it's just hitting against sidewalls. But it also sounds like one of those nylon sleeping bags when you're trying to stuff it into the bag at the same time. And with a sudden force and ferocity, behind you from the ceiling, it looks like a large larva has just fallen through the ceiling and makes kind of a splat onto the ground.
Oh, fuck.
And this larva begins to like writhe and wriggle a little bit, and you see it has like little tiny like fingers from the front, and it rears back, and with its small mouth it just begins to spray some sort of webbing until it eventually, and as it does, it is just covering itself. And this frog is still smoking, looking at this thing. And eventually this larval figure begins to like twist and move so that all of this rope and webbing is entirely covering itself until it looks like a cocoon. The cocoon begins to move.
Open just holds his finger. Wait, I'm excited to see what happens.
Okay, but like, is this it? Is this the thing that makes you say wow? Like, I don't understand.
I mean, I said wow to the frog smoking, so like...
It begins to shuffle, and you see bits and pieces of the cocoon begin to break off.
Oh my god.
And you hear it sounds like a man screaming off in the distance. And as the cocoon breaks, you see humanoid fingers from inside grasp the edge.
Oh no!
And another set grasp. As there is just this man, short brown hair, beautiful sea green eyes, just covered in gunk. Help me! As he's like tearing off parts of this cocoon.
Olin runs over and starts cutting at the... What? Excuse me? Who are you?
Oh my god, pull him out! And I think Hish is leaning forward and grabbing this man by the arms or under the arms.
And as you pull him out, this figure is coated in some sort of primordial guck. They are wearing absolutely beautiful looking red robes that have kind of a gold fringe on the bottom. They have some rings on their fingers that you didn't notice before, and as they kind of like slide out of the cocoon, I'm so thankful that you all got here when you did. Another 10 minutes, I would have been a butterfly. A pretty big one at that, but that is no way for a shopkeeper to look. Ugh.
How did you get in there in the first place?
Hello, my name is Aurello Thread Twister, and welcome to Things That Make You Say Wow!
Well, I've already said wow once, so I'm excited to do so more.
Well, you've come to exactly the right place to say wow as many times as you possibly could. I know I do. An infinitesimal amount of wows.
From the inside of a cocoon?
This shop changes. Every time you come in, it's always something new. Always something different. We have to change things up to make the customers really surprised.
Well, it worked. I am surprised.
Good.
Some effort.
Well then, now that I'm done being a bug, what can I do for you?
Hang on a sec. I just need a minute from the man screaming for his life from a cocoon. So
Again, very thankful I could have been a butterfly. Or a moth. What kind of bug was I?
Some sort of...
Was it green or like a grayish?
Can I roll nature?
Yeah.
29?
It was a grayish color.
Grayish.
No, I would have been a moth.
What's wrong with moths? Moths are nice.
Nothing. I just... Look, if I'm going to be spending my life as one creature or the other, I want one that, you know, people regard as beautiful and doesn't have a weird attraction to fire.
Well, moths are beautiful. You would have been half moth, half man. I think that's a very beautiful thing.
Could have been Mothman?
Yeah! Have you ever seen that,
Hold up, put me back.
the Atlas moth?
I'm not putting you back in there. I'm not listening to you
that's fine.
scream again. Right. Your shop.
Hi, we're customers.
Yes.
I would assume so. Very helpful customers at that. So, how can I help?
Right. I'm expecting some, well, we're adventurers and we're expecting to go through some, very difficult, a very difficult journey. And I was wondering if perhaps you would have something in your shop that could replace, and he pulls out his scimitar, and I think he lays it down on the desk, probably just like pushes the cocoon off and lays the scimitar where it was. If you could find something that might replace this.
Looks rather nice.
It served me very well, but I'm rather nervous about the journey ahead, and I thought I'd well, I just thought I'd try.
All right, well. And he kind of picks it up, examines it, and you see him reach into a pocket, and he pulls out a pearl and begins looking. It looks like he's looking through the pearl, even though it is opaque, as he scans this item. All right. Well, I see that it is a flaming weapon. Are you just interested in something else? Something else that catches fire? Something else that doesn't catch fire? Like a boomstick? You interested in those? We have
Not
a few lying around. I don't have very many bullets.
I mean, I'm not wait, I'm sorry. What? A boomstick?
Yes. It's a mechanical contraption made mostly by the gnomes, as well as acquisitioned a few in the Far Isles where certain people make robot people.
All right.
If you've not been familiarized, consider yourself lucky. It's a whole ordeal. I almost lost an arm. But boomstick, you load a piece of metal into a tube,
All right.
and then you point that tube at somebody, and you pull a small apparatus on it, and you only do this on bad people.
I was gonna say someone's gonna
Not
lose an eye.
friends. Oh, they'll lose more than an eye if you hit them in the head with it, I assure you.
Mm.
We have a few of those. We have sharper swords. If you're looking for something sharp.
Sharper. I like the fact that mine catches fire. If I could continue with the fire, that would be great. If not, it's not terrible. I am interested in that. Is there a cooler name to call it than like a boomstick? Like
A blasting rod. A kaboom tube.
I hate all of those words. Let's go with the blasting rod. That's I think the best one we have right now.
Bang branch.
Nope, not going with bang branch, Ulman.
All right. Well, so you want something that catches fire? Are you just looking for like a different weapon that does the same thing? Like you want like a bigger sword or like a hammer? Or like more fire from it?
More fire would be cool. It doesn't really. I don't suppose I mean, I sort of prefer scimitars. That's kind of what I'm accustomed to. But
You want me to like hollow it out and fill it with mercury?
what would that do?
Well, so when you're swinging it, more weight would actually go to the end of the blade and make the hits that you do a little bit heftier.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah. That sounds very cool.
It's not very easy to do, but... And he like motions towards this otherwise empty shop. You know, it's really not as impressive when there's nothing here.
I don't know. The cocoon thing was very impressive, so.
Why, thank you. It was
I
also
also-
very dangerous.
I also like
you
the
know,
smoking
no re-
frog.
He was smoking again. And like Aurilla looks over towards the frog and you see the frog kind of like give a shifty eye.
Ulman,
We've
be a
talked
narc.
about this.
You made me say wow.
I'm afraid I lost my train of thought.
Mercurial.
The mercury in
Yes.
the sword.
Yes.
If you have to hollow out the sword, though, wouldn't that make it less durable?
Yes.
Sort of thought there was going to be a but. to
No.
that.
There is not.
Okay.
It
So
is
similar-
so it's not like a whole hollow out. You just like make like a little like a bloodletter's divot. And then you
Okay.
just seal that back over.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So let's. All right. So you say you can do this, and that it would be difficult, but I totally believe in your abilities. If you can put yourself in a life-threatening situation and come back out of it, this should be no problem. How much would that run me? What do you take in exchange?
2,000 gold pieces.
Excuse me, 2,000?
Yes.
And how much for the bang stick rod?
For the blasting rod?
The blasting rod, thank you.
With or without the metal bits that go with it?
Well, it's sort of useless without the metal bits, right?
I don't know what you'd be putting in there. One of those would run you about 500. And then every metal ball that you're roughly putting in there is close to about 5 silver.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
I'm Orillo.
I'm a real
Orillo Thread Twister.
Right. Could you give my friend and I just a moment, quick aside?
Of course. Take your time.
I think Hish, it's not very it's a pretty small tent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think he just kind of scoots casually over to the side. I imagine Hish takes up a lot of room in here.
Orillo, well, so top side of the tent, 5x5. Inside the actual space itself, 40 feet in depth and about 20 feet wide.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
And you see that Orillo is just picking up his frog and just, I told you, that's bad for you.
Yeah, I think Hish pulls Ulman aside. All right. Ulman, I want both. Is it stupid to get both? Do I need a blasting rod and a flaming sword with mercury in it?
Can you afford both?
That's an excellent question. How much gold is 170 platinum? Oh, okay, so each platinum is 10 gold.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I technically can afford it.
I'll be right back.
So to answer your question, no. I can afford the blasting rod. Can't afford the upgrade to...
Well, it seems like you have one flaming sword, but you don't really have any ranged weapons. We could rob him now and the narrator wouldn't notice.
That's an
Putting that out
excellent
there.
point.
But, you know, seems like having the ranged weapon might be helpful to you, and it's in your budget, so you don't have to break that too much. Plus, you still have to buy a house.
Buy a house, you're right. Oh, God.
All right. So, what's the plan? I see in chat that you were saying something about robbing this guy.
Listen, we were not considering the possibility of robbing this man. We were just talking about how bad it is to rob and thieve. Yeah.
Okay.
This show has good morals.
Yeah, we
wanna
chose
make sure we
chose
represent
the
that.
good moral. The good morals. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Hish, I think, steps out of his sidebar with Ulman. All right. 2,000 you said for the
For the Mercury, yes.
and 500 for the blasting rod plus
Yes.
some silver for the blasting pieces. Now, with what I have today, I couldn't really afford that. Do you have a kind of payment plan, or perhaps there's some exchange we could do? I am an adventurer after all, and I do have quite a few adventuring things on me, things that I picked up over time. I have a haunted doll, if that tickles your fancy. You seem like someone who would be into a haunted doll.
What's that supposed to mean? How
Something
much
very
are
good.
you off by?
Well, for the whole lot? Listen, I don't know that that really matters. What I'm saying is, I think there's something we could work out here.
I mean, would you buy the old sword?
Well, no, because he's gonna
If I'd be
Well,
upgrading
upgrade.
that sword, I
Right.
would.
I see.
All right. So how about this? Let's total up everything that you're looking to purchase here. Then we'll see how far off you are from being able to purchase everything. And then we can create a sort of payment plan or potential workaround based off of how much you still would owe.
God, I really wish Jill was here. All right. So it's 2,500 for the lot. I'm not including the silver bullets or the bullets or whatever. We'll get there when we get there. I have about 1,700 currently.
Okay. So 800 off.
Can I roll an insight
Sure.
on this shopkeeper?
Of course you can.
23.
he is more than willing to help out an adventurer in need. All he asks is a favor or some other sort of compensation. But he's using words that remind you a lot of your mother-in-law.
Weren't you interested in a shield? That shield looks really nice. Let's go look at that shield real quick.
I don't want to. I don't even use a shield.
He just
Okay.
shoots you the look.
All right, shield, great. I could start using shield. I would love that. Yeah, he steps aside with you.
I don't think what he's going to ask for is going to be good for you. I'm just getting vibes like my mother-in-law,
Ew. Okay. Yeah.
and I don't like that. Let's try not to owe him anything.
I don't want to become a dagger today. No offense.
Not taken. I'm not a dagger anymore.
Weird flex, but okay. So,
That's
right.
all I have on her, okay?
That's fair. I'll let you have it. If he, okay, depending on what he offers, if it's not a great offer, then
If you
Would
really
you
want
think
the sword, I would help you out.
would you
But-
think less of me if I threatened to kill him? I
don't think that'd
really
be
want this
effective.
sword.
If he made any of the things in here, he's probably relatively strong, and I
I
don't
look
think we want it.
very intimidating, and he is a very flimsy looking person.
Hish, just imagine you're at the store, your son is here. Do you really want to intimidate the cashier?
My son isn't here though. I would
Yes,
not let my
but
son
you're-
in here
to
with a
practice.
smoking frog.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
But I didn't ask you.
You did!
She'll turn around and stomp over and say, "Okay, what's your what are we looking at? What can I do to go home with this sword and this blasting rod?"
Sword and the blasting rod, you want to go home with them today. Well, as luck would have it, I am feeling rather generous. All I would ask...
You can't have my firstborn, he's already been born.
No interest.
Oh, okay.
No
That's rude.
interest whatsoever.
That's very rude. I have a very good son.
Good
Why did
for
you not-
you. Fatherhood is a very noble venture.
It is, and it's great, and I love it.
Why did that suggestion of bartering not bother you?
What?
How far does the extent of your bartering go?
Well, some customers have bartered for things a little out of their price range. I know a few cloud giants who like to wear smaller folk as jewelry, so sometimes they've been used as that. Other times they've had to play games with giants. Another time they had to go to, you know what, I won't bore you with that story. How would you feel? Do you have any, have you been having some dry skin issues lately? Like some dandruff going on? Do you think possibly you could fill a receptacle? It needs to be about a cubic inch, but
A
I would
cubic
need you to
inch?
fill it with dead skin of yours. Or a live skin, either way. Do that.
What are you doing with my skin is the question.
Well, that's up for me to decide. I'm trying to be helpful. I'm trying to be the shop owner that you want me to be. You want these items. I want you to have these items. And here you are telling me that you won't put your skin in a box. It's weird.
Yeah.
Really
so
weird.
So weird. Okay. That's a pretty I think, doable offer. I don't know how much dandruff I would need to have. Other options? Do you have other payment options other than the dead skin plan?
If you want, we can put it on a payment plan, like you said, like you offered. But in order for the payment plan to start, I would need some hair and some blood.
What? Why? What does the hair and the blood have to do with me paying you money?
It would allow me to track you down if you were late on a payment.
Ooh.
And of course, once you were fully paid, I would be able to give you the blood back.
Just a second. And he pulls Ulman aside again. He goes, Ulman, I really just want to threaten to kill him.
I think that's going to get you neither of the things you want, and both of us kicked out of here.
But I haven't said wow yet, and I think that goes for something. I have not said wow. This
I
man
also
has
haven't
not wowed
gotten
me.
a shop. Which, honestly, if it means not knowing anything, I'm willing to sidestep and just give you 800.
No. I don't
That
wanna
bad.
I don't want to take it. I don't want to take the money. We're going to put that into a business. I'm going to think on this. Why don't you do some shopping?
I want you to decide before I shop, because if you decide to take a deal, I'm just going to pay. You can't stop me.
Okay, well then there's no point in me deciding if you're just going to pay if I decide to give this man my dead skin.
I was just hoping you'd get there naturally. Look,
all right.
you're tangled up in fucky god shit. I don't want to give another wizard a piece of me.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that's up to you as well, but...
Okay, fine. What if I just get the gun and then we don't do... Hold on. Wait, hold on. Excuse me. How much would the pay installments be? See, I'm looking to buy a house down the line, and if I don't have enough money to put a down payment on a house, you know.
What neighborhood are you looking to buy a house in?
Oh,
I know some realtors.
That's fine. I haven't really looked into which neighborhoods are the best ones yet in Murann, but
You said that you were a adventurer.
I am.
Would you say that you are a prominent adventurer?
In some areas.
What areas?
Saltmarsh, I happen to be quite, I was quite prominent there.
Okay. Saltmarsh, it's a small town. I would give you a year to make up for the other 800 gold that you would still owe me.
I can't do math. How much is that a month?
Well, the DM can't do that kind of math either, but he gives you the number that it would be.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
That's 800 divided by 12 for everybody out there.
Yeah, listen, I'm thinking about it. All right, so 66 gold a month. No, 67 if you round up.
75 if we're doing it with interest.
You want to charge me interest? I haven't even said wow in your shop yet. I don't think you can charge me interest on this.
You just said wow.
Fuck me.
Play your cards right, Mr. Hish, and maybe I will.
You are not in the same league as me. Anyway, let's...
Ow. But noted.
Let's go with the year-long plan.
All right. So, year-long plan, blood, hair, going to need a little bit of both.
Okay, blood, hair, both. Now, is this a No, I'm rethinking because you know what? We'll work out the deals later. Just blood, hair, got it. And he takes out, or he holds his hand out for Ulman to give him like a little knife or something. Oh no, he has his Leatherman. He takes out his Leatherman. Just slices a little bit of his finger, just drop it anywhere. Or...
Arillo reaches into a side satchel that he has and pulls out a vial, and he sets it underneath the where your finger has this slight pinprick of blood coming from it, and you watch as it goes from being a small droplet into the vial, and when the blood droplet hits the bottom, you see then just more of your blood starts coming out of that wound until the vial is full.
Oh, no.
And he just puts a little stopper on it. And then reaches in, sets the vial into the satchel, pulls out a set of golden shears.
Can I just pull it out myself, or... No.
I can take care of it.
I don't want you to. Can I do it?
No. And before you can even really blink, you feel a slight tug on your hair, and then you hear a snipping sound, and then he has a small lock. And then sets into the bag as well. And thanks you. And says, all right, now for the rest of the payment.
It's fine. I'll make more money later. Oh, it's fine. It's totally fine. And I think Hish, he pulls out the money and he gives it to him.
Okay.
Also, I'm sorry about what I said earlier. I was being a jerk, but I am spoken for, so.
No, it's fine. You're very much out of my league. I get it. I understand. I mean, look at you, and then look at me, having emerged from a cocoon not even 20 minutes ago.
Oh my god. You already got
Honestly,
your money.
looking great for just that.
It excellent for the complexion. You should try it sometime. If you ever find yourself inside of a cocoon, like, let yourself rest there for just long enough and then emerge. Beautiful as a butterfly, even if you were planning on being a moth. It's fine. Don't worry. Everything's going to be just fine. And at that, he takes up the scimitar and walks into, and like ducks behind the curtain. And as he ducks, there is about a minute or so of absolute silence. And then you hear a clattering sound from behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look, you see that there is a bundle of what look to be 3 red sticks that all have wires coming out of the top with a small spark that is actually going down the wires.
Where is this man? Can I go find him?
Can I step on that?
Yeah. As you go to get near the bundle of sticks and Hish, you go to like pull open the curtain where this man just went to, you see that it looks like just a brick wall.
Ooh, I'd like to smash through the brick wall.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
Everyone pray for me.
Using what, Hish? Using what?
Meat hands.
12 plus 9. 21?
Okay. With a 21, you You punch this wall, and there is no give. This wall is so incredibly solid. And Ulman, as you go to step on this bundle of hissing sticks, as you get near, you watch as that spark just goes all the way into them. And then you hear as smoke begins to billow out of the ends. And that smoke rises. And then you see it begins to make an almost oval-like shape. And you see what looks like the form of a humanoid. Very, very small. Running very, very, very quickly in your direction. And you see them getting bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually they are about medium sized, and you watch as this figure jumps towards you, their hands going forward. And as the figure gets close, there is the sound of shattering glass as what looks like a window pane shatters from where the smoke is, and you see Orillo tumble out onto the floor and just begins dusting away his pants, looks back at this fuming bundle of sticks on the ground, looks at you, rushes over to the counter, grabs his frog, and then throws it towards the smoke sticks. And you watch as the frog just is able to eat all of them in one single go.
What the fuck is happening?
Why do we have to feel like we're about to die every time you come back?
And Orillo just shrugs, and then he pulls out the scimitar. And you can see that there is some finery that has been done on the inner curve of this scimitar. And this is... and smoke just seems to billow out of his lungs as he speaks.
Oh.
Sorry. This is for you. And Hish, as you hold it, it does feel like there is like a shifting weight in the blade itself.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And
Honestly, for a second, I thought you would run off with my money. So
no,
thank you.
no, I would never do that. No,
Mhm.
not that kind of shopkeeper.
I appreciate it. And the blasting rod.
And you see,
Please don't put yourself
Before-
through that whole thing again.
Before you
We can-
run off again, I have something I'm looking for as well. You know, to save you a trip. I mostly was looking to upgrade my shield a bit. It's rather mundane, and I would like something maybe a little more magically sturdy. That or anything that might protect me against psychic damage.
750 for a better shield.
God, this guy's steep.
I could do that.
And Orillo nods, and you see him walk to the back of the counter, and it looks like he is walking down a staircase that Hish, you were just behind that counter. There are no stairs there, but you hear Orillo off in the distance. And then as you feel the tension rise as you wait for something awful to happen, you hear him, here you go. And just seems to appear standing behind you, coming out of a curtain. And Hish, he hands to you a blasting rod, and it looks like closer to a rifle. And Ulman, you gain a +1 shield.
Yeah, I think he's holding it. He's not quite sure how to hold it at first, and then figures it out. He's like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I can fuck with this. All right.
All right. And As you are making your way back to town after having dealt with Orillo, Hish, you are able to gain the new properties for your flaming mercurial scimitar. The mercurial property actually gives you a crit on 19 to 20.
Okay.
And as the two of you make your way back to Murann, that is where we will call it for tonight's session. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join us for this wonderful excursion into the mean streets of Murann, and also things that make you say, wow. I love this game. It's great. We finally hit 500 followers, and it feels very strange. But, hey, Dingo, where can we find you? What do you do?
Ooh, good question. You can find me on Twitter at WheresMyDingus. Thursdays, obviously, you can find me here. Every other Friday, you can find me on Off the Table playing Tales from Thersha, which is a D&D homebrew campaign. And then on the other bi-weekly Fridays, you can find me on Matthias's channel playing Songs for the Desk. That's what it's called, in a game called None of Us Are Going Back. It's very good. It's a Forged in the Dark system where we play 2 himbos and a swamp witch. We just made the city lift up and fly itself, and then had to find a way to make it stop, which was absolutely incredible. So shoot, I think that's all I'm doing for right now.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Reeves. You can find me asking the hard-hitting questions like, did Ches say wow? We may never know. Otherwise, you can find me on both Twitch and Twitter at Reeves_bot. On Twitch, I am playing through. We just started up some Dungeon Defenders, getting the groove of that game. That's been fun so far. Streaming on Sundays with a couple friends of mine. That's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Otherwise, I'm here on Thursdays, and on my Twitter, I just retweet shit when I like it and post when I'm going live.
Hoi!
I'm Cyber. I'm gonna try to be simple. If you go to cyberwolf1201.live, you can find everything that I do. Well, most everything that I do. You can find my Patreon, you can find my Twitch, you can find my Twitter. You will not find the shows that I'm doing though. I'm here. I'm here on Thursdays, where you found us. I'm also here on the Monday night game where I play a character who would have been very interested in all of this entrepreneurial bullshit that was going on. Do you need a sponsor? I'm also you also would not find the game that I am in on Saturdays on Prairie Stars channel, where I will not be this week, but I will be for the next 2 weeks before I'm gone for the next 3 weeks. Confusing, right? But we all got to get our one-on-one sessions in. But check that out so you can catch up on what Kirk the druid who lied about being a druid on his resume is up to. Yeah. One thing that I do want to shout out, if you go to that Patreon, the adventures that you can get, the Dory conversions of D&D modules, they've just been redone and look semi-professional now. And you can get them both for just $1. So that's cool, right? But yeah, DanaeKeener.com.
Hi everyone, I'm KyleWithAnN, otherwise known as Kyle, with a painful set of stomach ulcers. And stomach ulcers are silent. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch with that name. You can find most of what I do actually now on this neat little website called jabroni.tv that my friend Lizmac made, that has me and Connor and some of our other friends, the games that we made, our streams, like our Twitch channels, and also the games we play in the Jabroni tabletop section. Indoor Adventures is mentioned, this game is mentioned, along with everything else, but to save you a quick click, I stream on Tuesday nights on my channel every other Wednesday. I'm playing Mask Planned Obsolescence. So not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. Normally, you would be able to catch me on Saturdays on Pro Restarters. However, I'm not going to be back for a hot minute. You probably won't see me there till June or something like that. So watch everyone else's one-offs. Watch the VOD I was in. It's a pretty good episode. Podcasts, Cape Lorelei, Urban Shadows Actual Play Podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp. Let's talk about it. Connor and I get drunk. We talk about the games we play and other things. We'll record an episode at some point. Who knows? Well, it'll get you when you least expect it. It'll make you say, wow. But maybe like in a bad way. Who knows? That's it for me. Stay fresh.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sundays when we play our Tomb of Annihilation game. If this is your first time joining us and you want to get more of these fine folk, consider going to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures, where you can catch up on the VODs of every game that we stream, as well as check us out anywhere where audio casts are made available for free. Right now, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you had any questions that you would have liked to deliver onto this fine group, you can get all those answers at Patreon. All of those podcasts are being made available for free. We're just hosting them on Patreon's website. So if you would like to help support the show, consider it. But other than that, we are going to be heading out for the evening. So once again, I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!